What's up, guys? What's going on? What's going on, man? Welcome to Profit Report with AB and Steve, man. Welcome. Um, so AB and I, unfortunately, um, it didn't work out, guys. No, I'm just joking, man. AB is out there driving from the great state of Louisiana to Texas, so he can't make it right now. So I'm rocking solo today. Welcome to the live, here to break down, these companies for you guys. And tonight we have Ferrari. It's car week today, guys. Car week. So I'm going to be breaking down, uh, you know, car companies. And today we're going to do Ferrari. I'm going to share with you guys a video real quick about how Ferrari was created.
The famous prancing horse is hard to not recognize, and it has been a long enjoyed status. How did the horse earn this crown? For unforwarded to the local registry office until February 20th
Uh,
due to a severe snowstorm. Alfredo Ferrari and Edelgisa Bisbini had two children together, and Enzo was Alfredo Jr.'s younger brother, who was also named Dino, a name that would show up in a grocery store only 1908. This occasion motivated him to take up racing. His time would have to wait, however, as the Kingdom of Italy thrust headfirst into wars against the Ottoman Empire and into skirmishes with the Austro-Hungarian World
Guys, so as you can see, this was a long time ago, over 100 years ago.
War I. He was enlisted into the Italian Army's 3rd Mountain Artillery Regiment during World War I. The majority of combat took place in northern Italy. Flu claimed the lives of both his father, Alfredo, and his older brother, Alfredo Jr. Ferrari, was forced to leave the Italian military after becoming quite ill during the 1918 flu epidemic. And the armed forces were looking to downsize either way as the war was coming to an end.
Sorry, guys, the internet today is not cooperating. We're watching a video. We're watching a video of how Ferrari got started before we get Dude. All right, guys. Sorry for the technical difficulty. I'm gonna just break down how it all started. I'm gonna share my screen. I got Copilot going on right now. Let's see how Enzo. So he was born in 1898, very long ago. He started his career as a test driver and racer for Alfa Romeo in the 1920s. And 1929, he founded Ferrari, a racing team that operated under Alfa Romeo's banner, but then eventually became a powerhouse. And they had, looks like he gained fame in events like Mil Miglia and 24 hours of Spa Francorchamps. Must be some type of race. After failing out with Alfa Romeo, he started his own company. And then, due to a non compete clause, he couldn't use the Ferrari name for 4 years. So, this was around World War II. Then, he launched the Ferrari SPA, the first car to bear the Ferrari name, was a 125S. And that won its first race in the 1947 Grand Prix of Rome. Man, I can't believe they were racing at that time. This is right after World War II. Uh, and then it quickly became synonymous with performance and prestige, winning races across Europe. Then the brand's success in Formula One and starting 1950s helped it cement its reputation. It's the oldest surviving F1 team with 16 constructors championships and then 15 drivers championship. They have evolved from pure machines to luxury sport cars, blending speed with elegance. Iconic models. Look at that. And I was watching I think was it a Mr. Beast video? And if you look up the most expensive vehicle, let's look it up together. The most expensive vehicle that they had. Well, this one is showing. Change it up. Do you see that? It's a Ferrari Model 275 GTB. This car is worth $100 million. Only three examples made. And when I saw the Mr. Beast video, they literally had to close the whole highway down, make sure that highway was like clean. They had like several workers making sure like there's no bumps on the road, making sure there's nothing that could possibly scrape or affect the car, and it could only be driven by one person that worked for the museum. And that is the most expensive car, 100 million. Let me see if I can show you guys an image. Let me see if I could share my screen. So look at this image of this car. It's not even that good looking, really. But yeah, $2. Look at that. The one I saw though was not this one right here. But anyways, so the most expensive car is Ferrari. I think it's only in there for um you know. All right, let's jump into the financials, man. What is going on with my Jesus? Okay, finally. All right, let's jump into the financials. Let's see what we're talking about. So I'm gonna look up Ferrari's annual report. Yo, this is the slowest my internet has ever been since we've started this podcast. Okay, let's open this baby up. This is the first quarter we want. We want the annual report just because of the amount of information that it does have. The annual report is the one that we want to review. All right, let's get into it. Any guesses on how much revenue they made the past 10 days? And I've noticed like these European style companies, their annual statement seems to be a little bit more colorful, more color. The font looks nicer. Just a nicer presentation than some of these other companies. But look at this random elevator. Like, well, why you have that? That's random as hell. All right, well, I'll take it back. What is this? Why do they have that? Just randomly. Yo. Let's see if I could download it. Maybe it makes it faster. Oh, so it's still showing that screen. Let me reshare my screen, guys. Okay. So we're in the financials now. Let's increase the size so it's easier to see. Let's go up to 150. Okay. Ferrari. It's must be lens. We got a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, it's a big financial statement. 478. It's one of the largest financial statements I've seen. I think the largest one we've seen before this is LVMH, which has 75 brands under it, Louis Vuitton, and a whole bunch of other companies. All right, board report. Look at the color, yo, popping up with the red. Look at that. Look at that font too, man. That's a good looking font, yo. Look at that. That's a beautiful red. Similar to the car. Okay, okay. It's a beautiful financial statement, man. I don't know if their numbers are gonna be pretty, but the financial statement thus far looks very pretty. Executive Chairman John Elkin. I thought it was gonna be like a Italian guy. Piero something. I don't know. This one is it's not that. All right. So but the CEO, Benedito Vigna. I don't know how to say his name. It's an Italian name. So all these annual reports are audited by CPAs, typically Big Four. In this case, it's Deloitte that has audited this annual financial statement. Man, what a beautiful annual statement, though. All right, so they talk about this is a shareholder letter. They're talking about the founder. They talk about Ferrari's achievement in 2024, created some unforgettable memories, and they talk about their free cash flow being above $1 billion and EBITDA margin, which is earning before interest, tax, depreciation, amortization, margin of 38.3%, and net profit reaching 1.5 billion euros. So they profited 1.5 billion euros, which is like 2.3 bill American dollars. Hey Google, how much is 1.5 billion euro in the US? 1,500,000,000 euros equals 1,738,000,000. Oh, I was completely wrong. It's about 1.7 billion dollars. Um, it's not as big as I thought it's gonna be, but then again, this is a high luxury product. Probably not a lot of people, buying up Ferraris. It's a limited market. But let's keep going. So they talk about in May that they further strengthened their lineup with adding different models. And then in October, they revealed their F80 Super car. Huh. Well, that's cool. And then they talk about their founder, blah, blah, blah. And they talk about leading example in sustainable innovation. And then they talk about carbon neutrality, which is interesting. Then why don't they just go electric? So they talk about had been an example high efficiencies closure will ensure a threefold reduction of methane gas consumption. So they are taking steps to reduce their carbon footprint. And then they also talk about the racing. They said their teams brought home memorable victories in both the FIA World Endurance Championship. And I think Lewis Hamilton now drives for them. Who is, if you don't know who he is, Google him. He's a 7-time champion. He's like considered the Michael Jordan, Tom Brady of the F1 sport. And he's also black. Not a lot of people know that. Lewis Hamilton, fairly young too. I think he's like in his 30s. He just signed with them. I think he used to drive for Mercedes, and then he started driving for Ferrari. All right, a lot of pretty things on this document. My goodness, how come the American publicly traded companies? I mean, I think this is a American publicly traded company as well, but it's not an American company per se. They really should get their financials to look this good too. Like, why not? It makes it easier to read. All right, so they talk about this report, Form 20F. Okay, which is different. In America, it's called a Form 10K. In this case, that it, it meets the Dutch legal requirement and applicable to foreign private issuers. And then this annual report was filed within the Netherlands authority. So it's based in Netherlands? Huh. I thought it was based in like Italy. That's interesting. Okay. So we're reviewing a 20F. All right. And then this other stuff is really just it's important, but it's not important to what we're looking at. We want to look at their numbers. We want to look at some risk factors. We want to look at how they're doing. How's their financials? How's the balance sheet look? I think some of the risk they're talking about is if our car designs do not appeal to the clients, our brand and competitive positions may suffer. I mean, that's a no-brainer. They talk about the introduction of electric technology in our cars is costly and its long-term success is uncertain. So this is essentially where they talk about like certain risk that is present within their company. We see this with a lot of the companies that they usually state something. In this case, they're talking about the transition to electric vehicles is a costly endeavor for them. Makes sense. We depend on our suppliers, many of which are single source suppliers, and if these suppliers fail to deliver necessary raw materials, components, part systems, services, or infrastructure of appropriate quality in a timely manner, our operations may be disrupted. So they're talking about like certain things that they source. They only have one supplier for that. which does happen with you know, especially specialized companies like Ferrari, that high quality materials that they might need, there's probably not a lot of suppliers for that. Therefore, you have a single source supplier. But that does present a lot of risk for the business, because if you only have one supplier for a specific component, if that supplier goes down and or something happens to that supplier, that affects your business. And they talk about our low volume strategy may limit potential profits, and if volumes increase, our brand exclusivity may be eroded. Look at that. Look at the struggle, right? Here on one hand, because there's such a rare item, they could price it at such a high price. However, if they start, producing a lot more, it doesn't seem as exclusive, and therefore it erodes the value, and people might not be willing to pay that high price. So look, they sold 13,752 cars in 2024. Man, that is not much at all, yo. And then the previous year, 13,663, and then 2022 they sold 13,221. Essentially, they're averaging about 13,000 cars um per year. And they said comparatively, like in 2014 they were selling 7,000 cars. Man, they are not selling that many cars. 13,700. Now we compare that with the number one selling model, a Model Y. If we look that up, hey Google, how many Model Ys were sold in 2024? So in 2024, there were 1.09 million units of Model Y that were sold in 2024. That's crazy. Compared to 13,000. Sheesh. It puts it in perspective. Super rare. All right, moving on. The small number of car models we produce and sell may result in greater volatility in our financial results. Facts. The controlled growth strategy exposes us to risk. They talk about tariffs. Of course, tariffs would affect their business. Yup. Look at this. My co-host is messaging me. He's like, "Yo, you streaming, bro?" I'm like, "Yeah, I am." We just had some technical difficulties. And again, guys, if you're just joining, man, we're doing Ferrari. And we're streaming right now. And we're looking at their financial statement. We just looked at it, and we saw they're selling 13,000 vehicles per year. Looking at risk, it says the demand for our cars and the value of our brand depend in part of on the value of our vehicles over time and the automobile collectors and enthusiasts community. So there's a whole bunch of community that looks for these cars, and if those people's preference changes, that's a risk. That makes sense. Boom, boom, boom. They talk about cyber risk, which is like in every company that we review. Cyber risk exists. And they rely on their dealers network to provide sales and services. We do not own their Ferrari dealers, and virtually all of our sales are made through our network of dealership. Okay, so they don't own the dealership. Interesting. And then other risks they talk about: car recalls may be costly. I mean, any car company car recalls are going to be expensive. They talk about subject to product liability claims. That's also a risk that exists within any other car company. It's not exclusive to Ferrari. Uh, what else? What else? What else? What else? They depend on the strength of their trademark and other intellectual property rights. They have a huge brand recognition, so of course there is a big dependence on their brand recognition. Oh, I see you, AB. Let's go, dog. I hope that drive is going well. You know what I'm saying? I'm holding it down in your absence. We were reviewing Ferrari. And if you just join in, man, just guess how much Ferraris were sold in the last 3 years, just annually. What do you guys think? Drop a number. I'll tell you. If you have been rocking with me since earlier, you know the number. Um, how many Ferraris you think are sold every year? And I'll give you guys the answer. I'll give you like a 10, 15 seconds, and then I'll give you the answer. Are we looking at other risk? Development and growth markets may adversely affect our business. Okay. Improper conduct of employees, agents. Yeah, that's a risk that exists anywhere. If we were to lose our authorized economic operator certificate, we may be required to modify our current business practices and to incur increased costs. What does that mean? He said, because we ship and sell our cars in numerous countries, the customs regulations. Oh, okay. So they're talking about like customs and stuff being, making sure. Oh, AB, you're pretty close, dog. AB says 10,000. They sold 13,000. Consistent too for 3 years, about 13,700, but just average about 13,000. And then compare that to Tesla. Tesla sold over 1 million units last year. They talk about debt. Our debt was 3.352 million. Sheesh, that's 3 bill. Okay, so they do have a good amount of debt. I mean, it's not crazy high, but and then they have a floating rate, so it's not a fixed cost. They don't have a fixed interest rate, which might make them subject to risk. Okay, man, they're stating a whole bunch of risk. And guys, I've said this at the beginning, man. The annual report for these European companies, it looks so nice. Their font is nice, the color. I know you can't really see it on this, but earlier it was just colorful and nice. Okay, exchange rate fluctuation. Yup, that obviously is it's a company that operates in multiple countries, so of course you're gonna have that. Affordable financing. Look at this. The people that purchase Ferraris are super rich. I don't know if they really would need financing like that. uh, we may not be able to provide adequate access to financing for our dealers and clients, and our financial services operations may be disrupted. These guys are literally stating all the risk, like everything you could think of. They're very thorough on the risks that they're stating. Um, our insurance coverage may not be adequate to protect us. Come on, dog. That's a risk that exists with anybody. It doesn't even have to be a company. Oh, we have a potential conflict of interest with Stellantis. Oh, why? Let me see. So, questions relating to conflict of interest may arise between us and Fiat, our former largest shareholder. Oh, renamed Stellantis. And a number of areas relating to common shareholdings and management, as well as our past and ongoing relationship. There are certain overlaps among the directors and officers of us and Stellantis. For example, our executive chairman is the chairman executive director of Stellantis. Okay. So Stellantis is the same company that has Jeep, and we're going to cover that also this week, and they own other brands as well. Um, but yeah, that's interesting. I didn't know they own a good amount of Ferrari. Okay. Hmm. So they mentioned that. And then they also, these people review opportunities that may be appropriate or suitable for both of us and such other companies. And then Exor holds approximately, what's Exor? I'll look this up. What is Exor? What is, you guys could probably not see my screen because this thing is, let me see. It looks like it's a listed holding company for the Italian Agnelli family, and their holdings include Stellantis, Ferrari, and Iveco. Oh, okay, interesting. Oh, Hassan says Stellantis stock. They're connected by Fiat, I believe, and Maserati. Yeah, looks like they are all connected to an extent. Oh, zoom in on the financials. Yo, for real. I mean, let's see. Is that better, guys? Let me know. All right, so there is some influence over here from other companies. All right, what else? Our loyalty voting program may make it more difficult for shareholders to acquire controlling interest in Ferrari. Wow, so these other companies have a has a huge influence. Look at that. Exor had approximately 24.84% of our outstanding common shares. And then there's a trust that holds about 10.56%, which is a trust in Jersey. Okay. All right, let's keep going. Man, they really do have a lot of risk. And Hassan, you say they don't like the disrespect on Ferrari. They keep it high end. The cats are good, but just more luxury. They are a pain in the ass overall. Well, Ferraris in general are a pain in the ass, or what's a pain in the ass? And let's keep going. The consequence of a loyalty voting program uncertain. Man, they got a lot of risk. This is the most risk I've seen. So they're among the world's leading luxury brand. Yes, of course. And they design, engineer, and produce all their cars in Maranello, Italy, and sell them in 60 markets through a network of 180 authorized dealers operating 200 points of sale as of the end of 2024. So there's essentially 200 points of sale in the whole world to buy Ferraris. Man, that is not a lot. Our current product portfolio, 7 range models of which V8, it's an ICE model, Spider, 3 V12 ICE models, 3 special series models, 1 limited edition Icona models, and 1 supercar model. Oh, the business and management are a pain. Oh, really? And that's what Live should probably be a pain in the ass, just because it keeps up the luxury. Unfortunately, I'd like the gate to a gated community. I know I have heard to even buy certain Ferraris, you would have had to been like a very loyal customer for many years, and it's so exclusive that even if you bought one every year or something, they purposely do not allow you to buy certain Ferraris just because it's only for the very exclusive, very dedicated Ferrari fans. I was watching a video about that. Okay, so we're looking at car shipments. So 13,752. Also, then there is a little asterisk. Essentially, says excluding strictly limited racing cars, such as the XXX program and the 499P. So essentially, and one-off and pre-owned cars. Also, they don't consider also pre-owned cars in this. So net revenue was 6 billion. Damn, to make, yo, that's actually a lot though. $6 billion off of 13,752. Yo, if we do the math on that, that's golly. Alexa, what's 6.6 billion divided by 13,752? Damn, that's like 479,000 per vehicle. That's that's expensive. Yeah, Hassan, you do need to own a Ferrari to get another. Yeah, and you need to be invited. And not only you need to have one Ferrari, you gotta have more than one, like to get the more exclusive ones. But he said the cars are beautiful. That said, brands like Maserati are terrible cars. Ferrari engine and Chrysler parts, but props to the Ferrari lineup. That's 6B for engineering. What does that mean? 6B. Oh, 6 billion. Jesus Christ. I'm slow. My is 430 had 1 billion in engineering, not to mention Ferrari and motorsport. I know I was mentioning this now, but Lewis Hamilton is in now Ferrari, right? I don't know if they're doing that well though. Is Mercedes the one still on top, or is Ferrari doing well now in F1? So I know there's the other guy also in aside from Lewis Hamilton, another young guy, right, driving for Ferrari. But back to the financials. Man, that's pretty good. 400 and something $1,000 per car, and operating profit 1.888. So that means cost of goods sold must be really high. Net profit 1.5 billion. So they essentially had like 20 something percent profit margin. And it looks like from the previous year, car shipments are up, net revenue is up, operating profit is up. I mean, net profit is up. Uh, EBITDA is up as well. So they have and consecutive years in 2023 and 2024, which is interesting because we had just covered the luxury market for handbags and stuff, and they have said like people are not spending on luxury as they used to. But on the other hand, at least with Ferrari, people are buying more Ferraris, and the company's making more money than they have. So interesting situation. What's up, San? What's going on? We're reviewing Ferrari, guys. Like just recap, they sold 13,000 vehicles last year, and they made $6.6 billion, which shows about $470,000 per car, essentially that they sold. And then we're going down. They look like they have done well the last 2 years. Last 3 years has been going up. And let's look at this. So their biggest market, we divide our regional markets into Europe, Middle East. So Europe was 45.1%. And then next is Middle East and Africa. Oh, so that's their second biggest market is Middle East and Africa with 29.1%. Then the Americas, actually not a lot of Americans have buy Ferraris like that with 8.4%. And then mainland China, Hong Kong and Taiwan. Hold up. There's only four numbers though. One, two, three, four. So that represents Asia and the rest of the Asia Pacific, about 17.4. This is the first company we've seen where America does not make the biggest um, component of the purchasing power. Their biggest two markets is actually Europe and Middle East and Africa. So people in the Middle East are rocking with, and Africa are rocking with Ferraris. Interesting. Who'd have thought? For real, like I wonder why more Ferraris are not sold in America. Huh. Okay, so now they're talking about we focus our marketing promotion efforts on the investments we make in our racing activities, Formula One, and one of the most annuals. So they say the most watched annual sports series in the world with a cumulative TV audience of approximately what? That many people watch motorsports like that? That's crazy. 65 million average race weekend viewership? Yo, it must be like very popular in Europe and other countries because I don't know anybody that watches F1 racing in the US. I really don't. I mean, you guys watch F1 racing? I mean, I watched it like here and there, but I wouldn't sit there and watch it though. That's interesting. Okay. Look, they say they must have not been winning. They said, although our most recent Formula One world title was in 2008. Dang. So they haven't been winning in a minute, yo. Maybe that's why they got Lewis Hamilton right now, so they could win. Yo, that's crazy. Look at that. Breeze surprise Africa. Yep. It's all that money, baby. That Habibi Mullah for real. I thought all Africa had was camels and donkeys. Ah, don't try to play us, bro. All they had is camels and donkeys. Yeah. That's funny. Okay. So they haven't won in a while. F1 racing is big for this community because that's how they got their name. Initially when we talked about how they got their start, they got their start by building really well built cars, and they were winning races back to back. And that's what got them credibility initially when they first started back in the days. By Enzo. International network of Ferrari stores consisted of 15 Ferrari owned directly operated stores and two franchise stores. History of the company, blah blah blah. The company is based in Netherlands, yo. I thought it would be based in Italy. I'm surprised it's based in Netherlands. It's just random. And it's registered with the Dutch trade. Okay, it's named after the founder Enzo Ferrari. Yup, he used to be an Alfa Romeo driver. And they even have their history within the annual statement, which is I don't think I've seen that. Okay, let's keep going. Industry overview. They say within the luxury goods market, we currently define our target market for luxury performance cars, producing more than 500 horsepower and selling at a retail price in excess of euro of 180,000. That's like $230,000. Okay, boom, boom, boom. Following the sharp recession. Wow. So after the recession, actually, the luxury performance car industry has been resilient to further economic downturns and stagnations, driven by an increase in new product launches, a sustained period of wealth creation in several Asian countries, and to a lesser extent in Americans has led to an expanding population of potential consumers of luxury goods. So people, a lot of new millionaires or so, is causing the rise in the demand. Okay. And then it said that after recovering and surprising pre-pandemic volumes, the luxury performance car industry continued to grow in 2023 with a slight slowdown in 2024, but it has surpassed the 2019. Okay. In 2023, Ferrari commenced deliveries of the Personag, first four-door, four-wheel drive, and four-seater Ferrari. Oh, man. Hassan, you know about this? Yo, I don't know they had a four-wheel, four-door Ferrari. Oh, that'd be cool. And then boom, boom, boom. More in other segments. The market share of individual producers fluctuates over time. Okay, okay. Environmental concerns, they all talk about that. Okay. So Ferrari units. So between December 31st, 2024. Man, so back in the days, they barely sold any freaking cars. Look at that. That's like, well, we can't really tell. It's like probably like 6,000 units. In 2014, I know they were selling 7,000 units. And now they're selling above, 13,000 units. So they essentially almost doubled since then. So it was more exclusive back then, actually. And large and luxury car industry units. Wow. Our updated data is based on units registered. Boom, boom, boom. So I think one is representing the whole market in general, how many cars in that industry compared to with the volume of Ferraris that were sold. So there was only about 86,000 luxury cars sold. And when we talk about luxury in this case, it's really the higher end, like the Ferraris, the Lambos, the Bugattis, and all that. So it says 2024 Ferrari volumes in the largest 25 markets increased compared to 2023. Yup. And then this is just breaking down luxury performance car industry market share. So in general, the industry for a luxury market, it's actually mainland China. Damn. So Chinese like their luxury vehicles, huh? Look at that. More than Americans. Damn, I didn't know that. And then even the rest of APEC, which is Asia Pacific, make up 34%. So Asia alone, 34% plus 37, we're looking about 71. No, this number don't make no sense. Oh, top 25 market. Yeah, so by geographic location, about like 70% of the luxury performance car industry is in Asia. Who would have thought, man? That's crazy. Okay. Doesn't represent the market share of Ferrari, but just in general. Interesting. Yo, the wealthy are definitely getting wealthier. In 2024, we had a market share of 23% in the luxury performance car industry, which is our historic reference market. Oh, so the enlarged luxury performance car industry, that one also has four-door luxury performance cars. Okay. Got it. So within that, it's a 14%. So it's a much more bigger selection. Okay. What do they consider to be luxury? Okay. We identify the luxury performance car industry to include all two-door luxury sports cars with horsepower above 500 horsepower and a retail price above. Also, the cost is also a factor. Italian marketplace, including, look at this all. I don't know if these are technically, but one of the requirements is it has to be sold over 108,000. Okay, in euros, and it has to be over 500 horsepower. Okay, competition is concentrated in a limited number of producers, of course. Our main competitors are Lamborghini, McLaren, Aston Martin, Rolls-Royce, and Bentley, as well as Porsche, Mercedes, Audi, BMW, and Land Rover in certain segments. So this is what they consider to be luxury. Look at this. So guys, so if you have a Lexus, yo, it's not luxury, guys. Yo, Lexus is not luxury, guys. So just know that. At least it's not mentioned by Ferrari. Okay. Oh, look at their models right here. Range models, special series, Icona, supercar. Woo! Yo, that supercar looks badass though. Look at that. Dang, son. I know it's a little blurry. It's blurry for me too, but okay, so these are their vehicles right now. Man, which one is your favorite model, guys? Which one would you pick? That GTS V12 is nice. I mean, they all look nice. Oh, they have a hybrid too. Dang, homie. Look at the Spider as well. Beautiful cars. Special series. Look at they have a hybrid, man. Oh my god. This one is nice too. One off. Look at these cars, man. Oh my god, they look good. Okay. They also produce track cars and limited edition one-off cars. So these ones are super rare when these one-off ones are super rare to get. Okay. So we target an end client seeking high performance cars with distinctive design. Yep, of course. Uh, they say we believe that our clients could be divided into two main categories. On the one hand, the sports car driver, a client looking for elegant and understated design, who likes driving cars in a variety of locations and conditions alone or with passengers, and who uses Ferrari for longer journeys. On the other hand, the pilot, a client looking for a high performing and extreme sports car who intends to drive cars on track and on challenging roads, who's looking for an exciting driving experience. Man, their target market is only two of those? What about the person that wants to just show off? What if a person that just wants to stunt? I got a Ferrari. Okay, they're talking about percentage unit shipments by pillar. I guess they're talking about the special series, the range. I'm not worried about that. By engine type. Look at that hybrid though is making a bigger share. Look at that. 51% of their vehicles that they sold were hybrid. See the dots show. Wow. And it's been growing steadily. So look at that, guys. Even hybrid is taking over the luxury market. And these are people that want speed. Supercars. The GTO. Boom, boom, boom. Track cars. Okay, one offs. We already talked about that. All right, a lot of personalization offers. That's one off. Maranello. So they're talking about where they sell this. Each Ferrari represents a masterpiece of engineering design, special equipment. So they could create a highly personalized car with a continuously growing and rich array of options. Uh, So they could have a tailor-made program elevates personalization to a higher level with the assistance of a dedicated Ferrari designer who guides the client in selecting exclusive materials such as cashmere, denim, innovative fibers for their cars. Wow, so you really could just customize that car. And finally, the one-off program offers the pinnacle of exclusivity, allowing clients to design a unique car personalized down to the smallest detail. So the two cars we saw as one-offs, they are the top-notch vehicles where you could customize it like to the studs. I'm assuming. Okay, the design center, blah blah blah. This is their like racing vehicles. We don't really care about that. I don't know if it even brings them any money, man. Aside from marketing, manufacturing, our production facilities are located. We already seen that in Italy. So our production process requires a great variety of inputs. Over 70,000 product identified code source, approximately 500 total suppliers. Damn. That's a lot of suppliers. 500 suppliers to make 13,000 cars. That's a lot of suppliers, yo. Just for that many amount of cars. That's not a lot of cars when you compare it to like Tesla. They sold 1 million Model Ys last year. Like 13,000 is like 1% of what Tesla sold. That's crazy. Sales and after sales. So they are divided into the dealer networks. Okay. Yeah, foreign markets are killing it, Hassan. Ferrari so niche. Bags are more universal. Africa is surprising, but it makes sense. It is very surprising. I was surprised about Africa. Um, Tesla's more desirable in a way. It's attainable for sure. F1 is global, not in the USA. I know. It is global. The amount of viewers that are watching F1 was surprising. There's a whole bunch of people watching that. It said 1.35 billion. Um, and then Kia says study showed that most car companies will be out of business by 2030. What study are you referring to? I mean, Ferrari is doing really well right now. Sales have increased. Oh my bad, I'm commenting on old footage again. Wow, don't worry, man. Come back to it. And my boy AB, man, he left me hanging today, guys. Look at this. I'm rocking solo. This guy over here just driving around just randomly from New Orleans to Houston. No, I'm just kidding, man. This is why we work as a team. If he's not there, I'm here, and if I'm not here, he's there. But anyways, let's keep going through the numbers after sales. So they give you guys, also they do our 7-year maintenance program free of charge for customers since 2011 on any new cars. Damn. So they maintain your car though. Oh, that's pretty good, yo. Oh shoot. Free of charge. Yo, that's pretty good. Damn. So all you got to do is just afford a car, afford the Ferrari, and maintenance is free for 7 years. Yo, I did not know that. Oh, that's solid. So it says, and then it says extension starting from the 30th year up to the 7th year, and the power warranty coverage covering from the 8th year up to the 16th year of the car. For certain strictly limited series cars, we introduced a full warranty coverage extension that could be applied after the 36 commercial contractual warranty. For the hybrid models, they introduced a new service called Warranty Extension Hybrid, which allows the owner to buy a complete coverage after the 30. So hold up. So you have to pay for this? I thought it was free though. But it says I'm confused. So it says our 7-year maintenance program free of charge for customers since 2011 on any new cars. So it is the 7 year program is free. Yo, that's not bad. That is not bad, yo. And Hassan says they're talking about EV cars versus gas cars. I mean, yes, they are, and but Ferrari has gone hybrid. If you saw their sales, hybrid cars now constitute a majority of their sales. Kia, where's AB? AB's driving from New Orleans to Houston, man. So he's on the road. They're trying to end gas cars by 2030, but EV's not catching up. No, I agree with you. There's no way you could end gas cars by 2030. That's no way. Saying really, FSD is the future. I'm getting Tesla soon. Yeah, we're covering Tesla tomorrow, man. I agree with you, man. I'm a huge, Tesla fan. You already know that FSD is for sure the future. AI, some clarification on the quarantine. Hybrid is the real winner. Yo, no, for real. Hybrid is the true winner. But yeah, guys, if you buy a Ferrari, man, you get a 7 year warranty for free, man. Free maintenance program. That's pretty cool, man. I was looking for my next car and I was like, what am I gonna get? And then now look. Not yet, not yet. Your boys pod gotta pop off before we buy a Ferrari, man. We're not there yet, but we'll get there. Okay. Client relations, blah. Okay, we target the general public. Our most significant effort in this respect is centered around racing, so they do the F1 racing. Yup. We target existing and prospective clients on both new car and pre-owned car sales. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And we continue to grow our active client base by 2.5%. Rejuvenated our loyal client base with more than 30% of new clients below 40 years old. They get a lot of recurring sales for people that have already purchased a Ferrari. Those are usually are the ones that buy new Ferraris as well. Um, and then recognize the importance of digital touch points for the overall client experience. Ferrari continues to develop the My Ferrari app, available exclusively for Ferrari clients. So yeah, guys, if you try to download this on the App Store, maybe if you don't have a Ferrari, it's not gonna work for you. Sorry. And look at that. In 2024, they organized a truly remarkable gathering in Miami. Okay. So they had an in June 2024. They had okay. So man, they didn't even mention all the events that they held. Like, really? And so all these events that they do, client relations, they're very detailed, man. They really talk about everything. And then the Formula One. So they haven't won the Formula One since 2008. They're struggling. They haven't won in almost 20 years. Well, that's what, 17 years they haven't won. World Endurance Championship. Oh, so this. And they talk about what place they finished. Ferrari made it to the podium with a third place finish. Okay. Yeah, why are they talking about that in the annual statement though? Like, I guess maybe this is part of their brand, like high performance vehicles. So performance in a race is important. Lifestyle over the past years to strengthen brand desirability. Ferrari entered into the personal luxury goods segment to broaden our client base. We also launched our clothing and apparel collection. What? Yo, Ferrari sells clothes now? Yo, I didn't know Ferrari sells clothes. This is crazy. We thought the luxury clothing market was already competitive, and now, and now they jumping in. That's crazy, yo. Um, King Dan, what's the cheapest Ferrari? So I think their cheapest Ferrari because they mentioned 185,000 euros is about 230,000. All that money you paying, I should say so. Saying racing is marketing, it absolutely is. AB saying make sure y'all like the stream, subscribe and all that. And then racing is engineering, driver flex to win is marketing. Ferrari has to be the best. Yeah, I agree with you, man. They're just struggling since 2008 to win. I have a Ferrari jacket. Let's team up with Puma. Oh, so you already rocking their clothes, huh? But they about to make more clothes. Look at this. Apparel collection through dedicated fashion shows. Man, okay. Create a new organizational structure formed by a dedicated and talented team with fashion and luxury expertise. Rationalize its licenses by terminating approximately half of its license agreement. Man, so they get into the clothing industry. Oh, look at their clothes, yo. Looks kind of weird though. I mean, the left one is all right. Personal luxury goods collection. Dang. Collectibles and memorabilia. Woo! Look at this car, yo. That is nice. Man, oh man. Okay. Oh, hold on. What else we seeing? Collectibles. So they also have a collectible section, such as limited edition and one-off artifacts embodying the inherent craftsmanship. So they're also and built on the concept of collectibility. Ferrari tokens and offer a Ferrari branded products such as high-end watches and high-end writing instruments. What? They sell watches too? Consumer electronics? Yo. What are they selling? Ferrari iPads? What is this? Man. Okay. Experience through this pillar, we intend to nurture our heritage and celebrate our craftsmanship through dedicated and tailor-made experiences. We capture the essence of the Ferrari spirit by immersing customers in the racing history, passion, and values of Ferrari through our Ferrari museums in Modena and Maranello. So yeah, guys, I was saying at the beginning of the video, if you look up the most expensive vehicle right now in the world, it's $100 million Ferrari. Like it's a rare Ferrari that only one person could drive it, one person from the museum. It was a video by Mr. Beast. Check it out. It's not even that pretty of a car, but $100 million. That's the most expensive car right now. Ferrari should team up with Fendi or someone. Maybe if these car companies teamed up with a fashion. Yo, for real, they really should. Maybe they should team up with our people from yesterday, Capri Holdings, Michael Kors and Jimmy Choo. They could use a lift up. But for clothes, not cars. Agree. Check Porsche design. Porsche design is big on products like Porsche exhaust speakers. Oh, really? Okay. We're gonna check out Porsche this week as well as part of the car week, guys. So we're reviewing car companies. Tomorrow's Tesla. Wednesday, maybe we could do Porsche. Okay, intellectual properties. So these are their trademark signatures. Look at that. The Ferrari word right here. The Ferrari logo type. The prancing horse. Yeah, the infamous prancing horse. That is such a nice logo, yo. Look at this one right here. Same thing. And there's another one. The names of our range, special series icon and supercar models are also registered trademarks. So this is essentially valuable that they could state within a balance sheet as assets, intangible assets. So they construction new building. Okay. Acquired plants. What is this? Oh, this is just a showroom. Employees, human capital. I wonder how many employees they got. Uh, what? State junior. white collar employees and middle managers. Yo, they break it down by white collar and blue collar? Why? That's bizarre, yo. You break down your employees by that? Like what's the point of that? I guess I don't know, that's just bizarre. So they have 5,435 um employees in total, and blue collar workers. There's less blue collar workers than white collar employees, and the majority of their employees are in Italy, which is why I don't know why they're based in Netherlands. I don't know. The rest of the world, look at this. For blue collar workers, they only have 8. The rest of the world for the other one for white collars is 311. So 5,400 employees. Hmm. Alexa, how many employees does Tesla have?
As of December 2023, Tesla employed 140,473 people.
Man, Tesla has 140,000 employees. Yo, class war. Yo, oh baby said class war for real. Like I've never seen any company break down their employees with blue collar and white collar. This is the first. He said, "Told you for." Hassan said, "Ferrari is a pain in the ass." Oh, they really are. Blue collar versus white collar. That is. So what do they do? Okay. Approximately 11% of the employees were trade union members. Okay, they're covered by the collective bargaining. Yeah, right. What is this? Approval and market surveillance. All right, this is like regulation stuff. Greenhouse fuel economy legislation, and Europe is heavy on that. Like carbon emission, making sure you hit those targets. They don't play. It's not like in the U.S. where you can just with the new administration things change. Europe is a little bit more strict about that kind of stuff. Look, they're still talking about this exhaust and evaporative emissions. All right, these are requirements. A lot of requirements. What is this? Just a random. Is that like a cello or something? Just randomly there. These European financial statements are different, yo. All right, this is not important. Chinese authorities issued a new regulations on cybersecurity. Okay. Financial overview. We finally get into the number. Okay. So Germany in Europe is the biggest consumer of Ferraris, followed by the UK, then Italy. So the place where it's made in Italy is actually not the biggest customers. Huh. Okay. Hold up. These numbers are a little. Oh, so in Europe, Middle East, and Africa, they sold 6,200 vehicles. And then Americas, which includes the United States, it's not just America. It also includes Canada. It also includes Mexico, because look, it says right here, it's number 4. The Caribbean and Central and South America, they sold 4,000 units, of which United States of America, they sold 3,452. So actually, there is a good one. So why did they initially earlier though? They made it seem like Americans don't buy that many Ferraris, but they actually did. I mean, from a country perspective, America, we bought the most. 25% of their sales was in America, and then mainland China, 1,162, and then the rest of APAC. But that's not a lot. Like 3,400 vehicles, yo. The population of America is over 300 million. 1% of 300 million is 3 million. So then this is like 1%. So would it be 300,000 would be 0.1, 0.01. It's like 0.0001%. Like it's such a tiny percentage, yo, that buy Ferraris. That's crazy. All right, keep going. Boom, boom, boom. Let's keep going. Capitalized development costs. So this is like building costs and stuff. They spend about 456 billion. Research and development, 563. So they're still spending a lot of money on like a lot of research and stuff. And this must be because of their transition to electrical to become more sustained hybrid and stuff. That does cost a lot of stuff. Car profitability. The cars we sell tends to vary depending on the number of factors. Okay. For example, our strict limited editions, the most recent. So it's our limited edition. Have sales prices that are significantly higher than other models in our product portfolio, in light of their exclusivity as well as the advanced technology and design these models feature. In general, these more exclusive offerings generate higher revenues. Okay, so the most exclusive vehicles in their portfolio make the most money. I mean, that makes a lot of sense. Of course, it would. Um, what else? What else? Our revenue from sponsorship, commercial, and brand activities are primarily impacted by, among other things, okay, F1, we mentioned that. We have increased our net revenues from sponsorship. Oh, damn. So they make money from sponsorship on their vehicles. So they made 499 million euros in 2022, and they made 670 million euros in 2024, which is like close to $800 million just from sponsors. Wow, not bad. All right, where are the numbers at? Foreign currency exchange, asset-backed financing. So like they have some debt out there. We can see it in there. Okay. So right here, net revenues $6.6 billion, as you can see on top right here. Cost of sales, which is how much it costs them to make the car, 3.3 billion. So they essentially have a 50% profit. Then look at the selling, general, and administrative costs, 561 million. That is low. So they don't have a lot of overhead. They don't do a lot of marketing. I mean, this is the benefit of having a brand that is so with a brand recognition that is so high that you don't have to advertise. Their biggest cost is the research and development, which is at 894 million. That cost them more than the marketing and other costs. That's crazy. So they made $1.8 billion, which is higher than the 1.6 billion from the previous year, 2023, and then from the 1.227 in 2022. And then net profit, guys, if you look at it right here, is $1.526 billion, which is also higher. They only paid $363 million. When you take it in perspective, that's about 5% of what they make. We always talk about this ABNI. Who's paying 5% right now in taxes? You have to make nobody in the US, if you look at the income tax bracket, nobody's paying 5%. So these companies are barely paying any taxes, which is crazy. But yeah, they profited $1.5 billion selling 13,000 cars, guys. Yo, that's so impressive. If we divide that, they profited how much? Like what, $100,000 per profit? Alexa, divide 1.5 billion by 13,700.
1.5 billion divided by 13,700 is approximately 109,489.0511.
Wow, so they made 109,000 essentially of like pure profit after they paid the employees, after they paid all other expenses, after they did R&D, research and development for other cars. They pocketed essentially 109,000 per vehicle that they sold. Like that's pretty good. And then other cars and spare parts. What? The following table sets for unless our net revenues from each of the years in December. No way they made that much. And oh, spare parts is included. Okay, so they just break it down a little further. Okay, so how they made their money? Okay, so they made 5.7 billion selling cars and spare parts. From sponsorship, they made 670 million, and then other, which is in three, 279 million. Where did they get that from? It says primarily relates to the financial service activities of the Mugello racetrack and other sports related, as well as the net revenue generated from the rental of engines to other Formula One racing teams. So they rent their engines to other teams as well, and they make money from that. Wow. So just from that, they made 279 million renting out their engines. Well, that's cool. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? I want to see their balance sheet, yo. Where is it? Other income. We already talked about this. Operating profits, financial income, income tax expense. Yeah, it paid about 5%, guys. Not a lot. Man, we're only at 100 pages, but no, don't worry, guys. Once we do the cash flow, this is the cash flow. So there are three statements that you look at within an annual statement. There's the income statement, there's the balance sheet, and then there's a cash flow statement. And then this one just tells you how much cash they got. So the beginning of the year they had $1.1 billion, and then from their operating activities, which is from like selling cars and stuff, they made about 1.9 billion. And then they spent, so cash flow from investing activities shows they spent 987 million in investing activities, which could be by like buying up new property, like new manufacturing facility, things of that nature. And then cash flows used in financing activities, it looks like they paid down some debt or some obligations that they have, because that's negative 325. If they had borrowed some money, we would see a positive number right here. But in total, this is like their free cash flow, essentially 1.7 billion. It's pretty good. So that's the cash flow statement. Now let's go to their balance sheets. Okay. Intangible assets. This is like their trademark and stuff like that would be something valuable that they will report in their balance sheet. They have $476 million in those assets, patents, concessions, and licenses. So total intangible assets of 507 million. And then they have some land at 58 million, plant machinery 105. And the thing about the land is some of the land that they own, it's like they bought more land because they had 32 million the previous year. Um, yeah, but the thing about accounting, one thing to keep in mind, and I hope I don't bore you guys, is when they record some of the stuff, it's recorded in historical cost. So let's say they bought this because this company's been in business for like 100 years. So at least in the US, when you do accounting, you have to record it at what you bought it. So this doesn't reflect how much it's actually worth right now. I mean, just think about it, right? If you bought a property 10 years ago and compare it to now, it's much more valuable now. But if you look at the financial statement, it would still show, if you bought your house at 200,000 10 years ago, it would just show 200,000 right here, but really your house might be worth 600,000. So, that's another thing to keep in mind when you're looking at financial statements is it doesn't really represent. You have to look deeper and be like, hold up, there's more value than this, and especially with land. So this 58 million could be really actually way more worth than that. So when you're valuing a company for investment, those are other things that you have to look at. All right, long-term debt. Look at this, less than 1 year, 1.1. So they're breaking down like how much so In total, long term debt, they have $3 billion that they have, but they have some part of it that has to be paid within 1 year or less than 1 year, 1.1 billion. Within 1 to 3 years, 739. So these are some of their current obligations they have. Lease obligations, unconditional minimum purchase obligations. What are those? What is that? It says refers to our unconditional purchase obligation to purchase a fixed or a minimum quantity of goods and services from suppliers. What? With fixed and determinable price provisions. From time to time, in the ordinary course of our business, we enter into various arrangements with key suppliers in order to establish strategic and technological advantages. In particular, such agreements primarily relate to research and development activities and to a lesser extent, tooling obligations. Oh, wow. So they have an agreement with some of their suppliers that to purchase a fixed or minimum amount. And that's an obligation. Damn. Wow, I've never seen that. So that means because we have earlier I mentioned they have certain suppliers that are single source, meaning they're the only suppliers for them. So in this case, maybe to get their suppliers to feel more comfortable, they've signed an agreement to do an unconditional minimum purchase obligations, meaning the company is obligated to buy a fixed amount of quantity from these suppliers. And they're mandated, and so much so that they're listing it as an obligation, as a liability, and 397 million. Wow. So this is so you know that their suppliers are very important to them, and they've taken steps to make sure these people are happy. Oh wow, I haven't seen that in any other financial statement we covered. It's interesting. Short-term debt obligations. I talked about that pension. So they have pension. Liability for obligation counted. Oh, all right. That's cool. It's cool, cool, cool. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? And we're gonna look at the stock next. So they have some bonds, other debt, total debt par with the third parties. Okay. Free cash flow. Let me just make sure that we don't not miss major shareholders. Exor, which is um, another company that holds position in fiat and stuff like that. They have a big position there. What else? Succession. Corporate governance. Year of birth. John Elkin is the CEO. And we said this already. I think John Elkin is the CEO of Stellantis. Stellantis is the company that makes Jeep. I forgot what other. They make other cars as well. They have a huge influence on this car as well. They are big. They hold shares in Ferrari. So this is showing the skills that the board of directors have with a little map. I haven't seen this in another place either. Look at that. Their CEO has skills in all this except the digital and cybersecurity. They have three people that have experience in cybersecurity. Okay, what else? Nationality. Let's see how much they make. Where you show the money? Show me the money. What? Share ownership. The number of shares directly and indirectly owned by members of the board of directors. Yo. Look at Piero Ferrari. He owns 18 million shares, yo. And then the chairman of the board owns 31,000 shares. Well, some of these people actually don't own as much as I thought they would. Oh, baby, thank you for telling me what it has. Ram Chrysler Jeep. Yes, yes, yes. I forgot the other ones. Um, oh, Hassan, minimum purchase like tires. I don't know if tires, I mean, it could be, but I don't know if it's components, but they have an agreement with their suppliers to buy minimum products from them. Yeah, it is interesting about land, Hassan. And it's a lot of things. It's not just land, it's other stuff as well that's recorded at book value. Yeah, the accounting world is a little funny. What else? Same thing applies for property. If you bought a property, it's also recorded historical costs. Inventory even is stated at your cost. So if a company holds $7 billion inventory, that doesn't represent actually the selling value. The actual selling value could be 14, $20 billion, but you only recorded at how much it cost you. All right. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? Before we look at the stock on Yahoo Finance, and then we'll give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down, or what is this? Damn, they still talking about these people, yo. Long term sustainability statement. Yo, this thing is mad long. Like, look how many pages we covered, and we're only at 277. They have 478 pages. Bruh. Bruh. Brother, as my son would say, brother, Okay, this is just breaking it down. Okay, so they finally shown. All right, this is the balance sheet that I wanted to see. Goodwill. So they must have acquired a company before because they have some goodwill. Intangible assets. Man, their biggest assets are actually intangible assets, which is their brand essentially. Property, plant, and equipment. This is like property, machinery, and stuff like that they own. They have 1.8 billion. Total non-current assets is about 4.4. Okay. Inventory. Man, they have $1 billion worth of inventory? Must be like raw materials and stuff. I mean, they purposely don't sell a lot of stuff anyway, so it's not even, you can't even say it's poor inventory management, but it has increased from the previous year by $100 million. So they definitely have more inventory than before. Tax receivable. Look, they're owed some money from the government or whoever. Receivables from financing activities. So there's people that owe money. So total current assets was 5 billion. And what we want to look at is their current liabilities to be less than their current assets. Where's the current liabilities? How come they're not stating it? All right. Well, if we can't find that, what we can do is compare total assets over total equity. And if you look at total assets, it's about 9.4 billion. You divide that by total equity 3.5. That's a 3x. That's pretty good. So they're not so in debt that they won't be able to pay benefits. But to keep in mind, their biggest amount of their assets is in intangible assets and goodwill, which are not really actual money. I mean, I guess the trademark and stuff is valuable. You could sell it, but it's not actual like real money per se. So keep that in mind. We already looked at that. Okay. I think we could go to Yahoo Finance. So I might have to reshare my screen real quick. Yeah, 478 pages is the most we've seen. This is the biggest for sure. And the way that I share my screen is a little funny. So I'm going to have to reshare my screen real quick, guys. And I could show you Yahoo Finance. Uh, let's go. All right, let's go to Yahoo Finance. Let's see Ferrari. What do people think? Boys, hold up, hold up, hold up. Where's Ferrari? Yo, my internet. Having some technical difficulties. Oh boy. Yo, guys, this is insane, yo. My internet is garbage. Embarrassing your boy, man. This is embarrassing. Oh, boys got jokes, huh? Like a chopped beef sandwich. Chopped beef like I'm at Ray's. Chop and screwed. Bro in AOL. Ah! Oh, okay. The jokes are good though. I gotta give you guys some chop like a celery, onion, and carrots going in a gumbo. Oh, these boys got jokes, huh? Oh man. All right, fair enough, man. I'll take that. All right. I did ran out of hours, Hassan. They blocked me, man. Okay, let's go to now. I'm afraid to go to Yahoo Finance if my internet's not gonna cooperate, yo. That boy streaming from an African hut. Boys at the computer lab. Oh, damn. Yo, these boys has been waiting for these jokes. Dang. I'm glad they're entertaining the people, man. And you know what? You guys are doing me a solid as this thing is acting up, yo. This is dang, son. Your boys hearing it. Yo, oh my God. This is madness, yo. Madness. Oh, damn. Bro needs to pick up. Bro needs to pick up internet from the internet store. Bin Laden had better connection from a scam. Ah, we could contact Voyager 1 and 2. Uh, yo, I wish I could fix it, guys. I don't know what's going on with the internet. Who told that boy to be on an island? Fix it, Jesus, bro. Talking about Ferrari on unreliable internet. Yeah, it's not a good look, guys. We're almost at the end, though. I'm gonna look at. Sorry, what you guys see? And yo, I was spitting some game too over here. I was giving out some facts. Apparently, I was talking to myself. All right, on. Okay, so let's go and see it on Yahoo Finance. I'm telling you, man, this internet today. I have a good internet. Yeah, I'm taking L. Pro bro probably got mint mobile. These jokes, man. The other number that you got to keep in mind is the PE ratio, which is the price to earn compared to the earning. The higher this number is, that means the more expensive the stock is. And it's important to know this number because remember this number. Let's just say it's 50. Remember Remember this number because when we look at Tesla, it's even higher. It's even higher than 50. It trades more than 50. And just to look at the analyst, I'm going to probably close this soon because this internet is embarrassing right now. Analysts are determined to be $518.44, which is a little bit of guys, I'm not even gonna. Bro got Wi-Fi from his neighbor. Listen, I don't know what the last part you guys heard. We just reviewed their stock, and I was saying 507 bucks. So even if you got to buy the stock, wouldn't be as many, and again, I wish I could expand more, but I'm having internet issues. So I just want to say much love to you guys. Thank you for rocking with us. Would be much love.